Hello and welcome to the Black Soldier Fly Leaders Podcast. I'm your host, David Taverner, and in this series we dig beneath the surface to uncover what's really happening inside the Black Soldier Fly industry. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This podcast episode today, I'm really excited by because it has two firsts for the Black Soldier Fly Leaders podcast. First one, we have two guests on here today. We've got Morgane and Arthur, and I'll let them introduce themselves in a sec. But the second first, and this is really exciting, is that they're recording the podcast from a boat. Wow, let's talk about that in a bit. But Morgane, Arthur, hi, thanks for coming on the podcast. First question I ask everyone, all of my guests, is how did you get into the Black Soldier Fly industry or idea in the first place?
Hi, David, and thank you so much for the invitation. We're glad to be here with you today. So I'm Morgane Breuil, the co-founder of Living Soils. Maybe I'll let Arthur.
Yeah, I'm Arthur, co-founder of Living Soils.
And so how did we get into Black Soldier Fly? Well, it's a story that goes 5 years back. I was working, so we met in Abidjan, actually, in Ivory Coast. And at the time, I was working at the African Development Bank, working on projects in the gender department for women empowerment. So I was on the field working with women in the agricultural sector, and I was replacing some issues that they were having. And Arthur?
Yeah, and for me, I was in the recycling plastic industry. So it was my first company. I was collecting the plastic in the streets, cleaning it, transform it, and selling it to bigger companies that were making chairs, tables out of it. And then on the side, we lived together in a house, and we had an aquaponics system and a small living farm in our backyards. And we had to make this farm work. And it was quite expensive for a small scale farm that we had. So we've digged in. And we found a video of a guy online, YouTube, amazing tool to find ideas. And he was doing Black Soldier Fly in his backyard too. So we started to try to catch some flies first and then try to see how it works. And it worked. It was hard at the beginning, but it worked. And then we decided to go for it and build a small farm and then a bigger one. And then that's how it goes.
Back in England, I don't know if it's in France, but the phrase catching flies means to fall asleep with your mouth wide open. Who was it you saw, the YouTuber? Because I watched loads of YouTube when I started as well.
It's an Indonesian guy.
Yes.
Maggots, I think.
Yes.
Cultivation.
And so hang on, just to jump ahead in the podcast. So you're on a boat touring the world, right? You're in Indonesia right now. Have you seen this guy?
Exactly.
Yeah, so we've been selling for months right now. So the boat was in Japan. And we are bringing back the boat to Europe. And the idea is to get ready for the global expedition that will be starting next year. And right now we are in Indonesia. So we have a crew of 8 people. And Indonesia is a pioneer country in the BSF industry. So we are also trying to visit some farms here in Indonesia. That could be a very good way to start our journey on the boat.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'll ask you to share your plan with me so I can, when I promote the episode, and also let's talk about the end as well. So then all of my listeners have to listen to the entire episode to hear where you're going, and they can reach out if you're going to be in their country. Cool. So Living Soils, you got to the point where you started Living Soils, your company in Ivory Coast. What exactly is Living Soils? What does it do?
So Living Soils is not a company, it's an NGO. And for us, it's very important to highlight that because we are not here for profits, but more here to teach how and to learn people to share experiences. And it came from the idea that there is, Black Soldier Fly is a nature-based solution, very simple, very robust, and easy to be scaled up. And so with this NGO, the objective was really to share our knowledge on the Black Soldier Fly as a very powerful tool to develop a more sustainable, profitable, and resilient agriculture.
Yeah. Now, just if we go a few years back, so I had a company that was it was a BSF company, so we were selling Frass and protein. And my idea was that BSF would solve agricultural problems, but if I sell it at a high price to people, it doesn't really change anything for them because they have to put a lot of money to get my product. And so by digging in a little bit more into the Frass, we found out that soils were very important for life. It's basically everything that lives comes from soils. So air, the way we dress comes from the soils. We eat through the soils, and its food system is dependent on the soils. So we decided to focus on it and to focus on Frass. And this is how it started. So I left the company, and it was a company I've built, and sold my shares, and then started the NGO. And the goal was to teach people how to fish, but don't sell them the fish, basically.
Yeah, right. Okay. So you've got like that kind of hands-on experience. There's a really good book called Soil, basically called from Matthew Evans, an Australian farmer. If you haven't read it already, I'd encourage you to. You probably don't need to read it anyway, but it's got all of the really good information about soil. Exactly that. It teaches us that we have no life without soil.
Yeah.
So we should look after it. Okay, so then this company you had, or business you had originally, that was in Ivory Coast, right? And so the farmers that you were selling the products to, or trying to sell the products to, the protein and the frass, you said that they, if it's more expensive, then the risk is on them. What is their appetite for risk? Because when I was in Africa, I found there's not much risk appetite for farmers in Africa. I mean, there isn't much around the world.
Yeah, it's when the farmers don't have a lot of money, so they can't take risks. They can't take risks. It's not possible for them. So they stay on what they know. They know that chemicals works. They will stay on chemicals. If it doesn't work, they will put more. It might work, but they know it will work. So if you come with a new product, organic matter, stuff like this, for us, they're a bit afraid because they cannot lose. If they lose, it's finished. So they don't have a lot of money stored, so they cannot really play with it. And it's when you sell a product to those guys, it's very important to understand it. And for me, it's another thing. I believe that people that feed us, people that teach us, and people that doctors and stuff like this. I don't have the word in English.
Professors, maybe.
The doctors that they take care of our health, they should be
yes. Medical doctors, yeah.
Medical doctors. All those guys should be the one that are higher in the society. But the farmers here, they're the poorest guys, but they're the one who feeds us. And they're the one who takes care of the soils, but they're very poor. So there's a paradigm they hit there. And I was like, okay, I can't carry on selling them expensive stuff. I have to find a way to teach them.
But also I wanted to add something on the risks. So there is several, I think, level of risks, because as soon as when you speak about protein, the results can be seen very quickly. Like you can feed your chicken, you have like production costs, etc. So for the protein, I think it's not a big issue, and it's very innovative, and farmers are really into it very quickly. But as soon as we are talking about the frass and soils and crops and how to change habits, so that has been here for decades, it's much more complicated, because it is not just about like putting some frass in the soils and then everything will grow perfectly. It's also how to change the mindset and how to teach them to do like agroecological practices, such as mulching or putting hedges or etc. etc.
Yeah, protein and frass is different, isn't it? And even frass and chemical fertilizer, because chemical fertilizer, as you alluded to, doesn't take long to make an impact, and you can see those effects within the season. Whereas sometimes that organic matter and the soil carbon, and the moisture holding capacity, all of these different things in the soil, you don't see those benefits until there is a problem, maybe in 3 years' time.
Yeah.
And so then the trust in the product quickly goes, especially when the tight the margins and how tight the time, the season, the weather and stuff for these African farmers is, because they quickly lose trust. Another good reference, actually, I watched a movie recently on Netflix, if you're into movies, called The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. And it made me really emotional. It's like a really good movie, and it's about this boy in Uganda, I think, a true story, or based on a true story, of how he learns about engineering, and he harnesses the wind. He builds a windmill to power a pump for irrigation for his local community, and kind of recover that agriculture in the community when there's been droughts and things, or floods. So anyway, what was I going to say then? Yeah, when I was in East Africa again, I spoke to a few people who were talking about really small scale agriculture and creating black soldier fly circular economies, where you quite simply convert the low grade organic stuff into high grade protein frass. And the chickens, for example, in these tiny smallholder communities, they don't have good access to protein and laying one egg a week because they're so malnourished. Simply giving them black soldier flies, I was told they were then producing, up to an egg a day, which is a 7-fold increase in the protein coming out of that chicken, which is insane, right? Are you seeing any similar results from your experience?
Yeah. So basically, we work with a guy from ERD. It's a French institution that did a study on how the insects, so the black soldier fly, works on the stomach of a chicken. And he did a study for the last 20 years. And what they've seen is that it helps chickens to reduce stress. It helps chickens to, and yeah, chicken can get stressed. You don't see it, but they do. And it helps them to lay eggs better because they digest the enzymes in the insect is complete. You have got a lot of stuff, and it's a lot of benefits. What we found out too is mortality. So basically, we have less than 3% mortality in our chicken farms, and we've got about at the moment. So we've got 7 farms running, but our main farm, which is where we teach people come and get trained on the farm. We've got about 900 chickens, and it's chicken for meat. And we've got 300 laying hens chickens and another 300 hybrids. We've got about 3% of deaths. Yeah, there is a massive benefit.
What would it be without the black soldier flies?
Locally in Ivory Coast is about, it can go 15 to 30%.
Okay, and then what are they feeding locally? What is the diet for these chickens?
It's local food. It's a mix of grains and additives, and soybean, stuff like this, which is made from big companies.
Imported from Europe.
And it's important.
Okay, and is that what you would feed in your farm if you didn't have black soldier flies?
If we didn't have black soldier fly, we would feed them with this. Yeah, it's the only option if you want to have results. Otherwise, you can find anything in the streets, but your chickens will not be big.
I'm feeding black soldier fly to broiler chickens here in the UK, but this is like hardcore broiler industry where the chickens are really well optimized already. And I'm still gathering data. It's too early to sort of share results, but there doesn't seem to be too much impact from the black soldier fly, which is good because there's no negative impact where broiler chickens have been married up with soy and their feed for 50, 60, 70 years. So there's no negative impact, but I'm struggling to see a real positive or performance enhancement based on a small inclusion of live larvae. But it's great to see it where you're from, where the feed isn't, the incumbent feed isn't so good. So the people seeing this, they must think it's amazing, the protein element of it for their chickens.
Yeah, and I just want to add something too. Here, if you feed chickens with the products you find in the market, you have a big chicken in 35 days in Ivory Coast. But if you feed it with larvae, maize, a bit of waste, we have a mix. It's around 45 to 50 days. So it's a bit longer.
Okay, so they're slower growing.
It's slower, but it's cheaper. If you add all the numbers up, it is cheaper at the end of the day. We start at 45 to 50 days, and then we sell them. So it takes a little bit longer, but we have a healthier chicken, better meat. So we've done some tasting with our customers, and we've done the math, obviously, to understand and it is cheaper to do it this way, like 40% cheaper.
And you've got lower costs than Europe for black soldier fly rearing. It's obvious.
Yes.
You've got cheap labor and you don't need really too much energy. Can you get cheaper costs of the actual protein of the larvae compared to the incumbent diet of the chickens?
If I would sell the protein, you mean?
Yes, or the larvae. So are you feeding dried larvae or live larvae?
No, live.
Live. So are the cost of the live larvae, is that
it's
similar?
about 30 cents of a euro. If I would sell it
for a kilo. So that's
30 cents of a euro if I would sell it. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So it's similar to soy as a cost.
It is, and that's the thing is, if you look at all the numbers, it's pretty similar to soils because we need to pay people. We have a rent for the farm. Main cost is labor, but as you mentioned, it's not that expensive, but you still need people, and petrol because we need to get the waste from the markets. And this is our main cost. So yeah.
Now we've spoken a bit about the protein. I'd like to go back to the Frass, and we have touched on it. How are you selling the Frass then? If there is a lot more skepticism around the product,
Yeah.
how are you selling this Frass or enabling people to use the Frass?
So our entire model is built on, we call it integrated farms. So the objective is to have like the black soldier fly in the middle of the overall ecosystem. But in all our farms, you would find chicken or fish or pigs that are fed directly with a live larva. And we will use the Frass also on site to grow vegetables and to be able to provide additional revenues for farmers. So meaning that we use part of our Frass directly on our farms to be able to produce vegetables, and the rest of it we are building up a plan right now to be able to sell it, but it takes time. So what we've decided maybe recently was to design what we call the living soils mix. So it's a mix between Frass and chicken manure, and this mix will be sold to farmers. Also, an important thing to say is, for example, we are putting in place a program for a year and a half right now in the cacao area of Ivory Coast, because as you may know, Ivory Coast is the main producer of cacao in the world. And some private companies are very interested in testing the Frass on the cacao trees. So what we do is we've put in place a farm that is being operated by women of the farmers. So they do have their own chicken and they're doing the whole BSF farming processes. And the Frass being produced on this farm is being tested right now on the cacao trees. And if the results are good, and we will know it by the end of the year, and we are doing this study with the CIRAD, which is a very well-known international agricultural institute on tropical agriculture. And the test, if they are good, we will build at 2 other farms in the area to be able to produce more Frass that will be used directly by the farmer on the cacao trees. So, meaning, I just want to say that we have different ways of selling Frass or using Frass on our farms, depending on the location of the farm and the beneficiaries.
If I can add just something about it. So we've been doing for 5 years studies with different institutions, locals, European ones, on the Frass to understand how it works and what to add in. So Morgane mentioned a little bit of the chicken manure, because if you use chicken manure and Frass, you've got 25% more effects than using just only the chicken manure.
Why is that?
It is because of bacteria inside of the Frass. But the bacteria so basically what's going to feed your plants is not really the chicken manure, it's the bacteria that will poop what they've eaten from the chicken manure. So more bacteria you have, the better it is. The quicker they eat it, the quicker your plants will receive the benefits. So this is all the bacteria stuff. And this is actually what we work on with, as Morgane said, cacao culture, because we do bioreactors where we take the Frass, we put it in water with air and other stuff, sugar and stuff like this. And we cultivate the bacteria. And those bacteria are very, very powerful. If we use them well, it's very beneficial, and it costs literally nothing to a farmer to do, which is very important. And
you add water. So does that create like a tea? Or
it's a Frass tea.
So you pour it on, like a liquid fertilizer.
Liquid fertilizer. It's a Frass tea, works very well. And it's pretty economic because we send a little bit of dry matter and they dilute it on the field really quick.
Yes. And this is, blended with chicken manure, or you use chicken manure to feed the larvae?
This one, no. One, no. So basically we feed the larvae with bio-waste, and we take the Frass. The Frass, we can use it different ways. Either just Frass, 100% Frass, or Frass mixed with different things like biochar, chicken manure, other stuff. This is solid. You're going to put on your fields. But you've got the other aspect is liquid Frass, which is a Frass tea that you can add. So if you do it in the right way, like you put the dry matter first, so the living soil mix, which we have online. So you find all the data on it on your soils, and then you pour your diluted Frass tea. It's a very long effect. It's very good. And if I just come back to what you mentioned about, you asked the question, how do we sell the Frass? We've mentioned that farmers, they sometimes have a little bit of money issues. So basically what we do is we give them the Frass for free, and we tell them, or the mixture, and we tell them, if it works, you pay us back with
Okay.
whatever you got from the field. And we've got our engineers that are agricultural engineers. They're always with them on the field to see if they put the right amounts to help them. So we've got a group of people all around the country teaching, trying to help the farmers to switch from chemical agriculture to insect-based agriculture.
So a technical question about the model there. If you're taking on the full risk of that, there might be a terrible season and nothing will work. And so the farmers say, well, it didn't work and the cost is then on you. You're an NGO. Is that all how does that work? Does that get agreed with your funders?
It's been discussed right now. It hasn't been tested, to tell the truth, but this is something that you can find. This financial arrangement can be done in other agricultural fields. So I know it's being done in the anacard, so it's a cashew nut in other sectors. So we're still trying to find the best way to do it.
Long story short. So we've got a farm, which is in Bassam next to Abidjan, which is Living Soils Farm for trainings. And there we produce, and we get money from people that pays for training. This is the money that gets into the NGOs. And we've got other projects in the north of Ivory Coast, where we work in very dry areas. We've got projects in the middle of Ivory Coast where we work on cacao, and those are funded by the buyers. So we can't, this is the money for the projects. And the money for the farmers, the money to develop what we talked about, to sell the Frass, help the farmers, blah, blah, blah. All this comes from our farm, which is literally Living Soils Farms, funded by its own.
Okay, my kind of what's going on in my head is that you will take the pain on this to an extent where, sometimes it doesn't work, but you'll continue building up this body of evidence and the data within the Ivory Coast and potentially in different countries if you speak to other people. And then to the point where people then understand the value of it because, farmers talk to each other and
That's the
and
thing.
then you can say, look, we're actually setting a price now, saying this is how much it's going to cost, but the data shows that on average it will improve your plants and crops and soil by X amount.
But what we've done also is that we've done a study with the farmers saying, okay, now you earn this amount. So we're gonna, because if you're doing chemicals and you go on organic, it's not gonna work. 100% is not gonna work because your soil is dead. You have to work your soil, and it's gonna take a long time. So we accompany them on this, and we tell them, okay, if you earn 100 a month because of your field, and then we put Frass and we help you, and then you earn 50. We'll give you 50 more because like that, you'll still have your 100. And then slowly we'll give you a little bit less because it works a little bit more. And at some point you'll see it's going to be working because as you said, if it doesn't work, will not work because the soil is dead, they're going to tell their neighbors. Neighbors going to say, okay, I don't want your Frass because it's not working. So it's a very, very tricky area. And there's a lot of work to do because soils are dead, 100% dead. It's very hard to go. We have to make them go back to life. So we try to find a little bit of subterfuge in French ideas to make it work.
Yes. Well, I mean, the best way to make it work is just show everyone the fields where it has worked. Yeah. I went to visit a beef farmer in North Wales where there's it's in the hills. It's not quite the mountains, but it's near the mountains. And, he's got an anaerobic digester, a small anaerobic digester on his site, which he puts in chicken manure and cattle manure from the local area. And he spreads the digestate on his fields. And then we stood on his farm and he showed us like, right, that's fields, pointed at them on the hills. And this was quite high up where the grass doesn't grow quite as well because it's higher altitude. And you could see the difference, on the hills and in the distance. You could see how much greener the grass was. And this was just after a drought in the UK as well. You could see how much greener the grass was in his fields compared to the next because he was spreading his digestate on it. And so it makes a huge impact. And he was saying that he doesn't have enough cows to eat all of the grass now, so he eats some more cows, which is great. And this is the kind of the evidence that really, really works with farmers, I think. Thinking about the cacao trees and that you're working with, do they produce any waste, or the cacao industry? Do they create any waste? I'm thinking about it because there's a company in Uganda and Rwanda called Marula Protein who works on like coffee stations, and they take coffee pulp, produce frass from it and feed it back to the coffee farmers, amongst other things, to create this circular economy and more growth within coffee and a good story for the coffee producers, because, you know, the cocoa industry needs, or the cacao industry needs, good stories as well for their global customers. So is there something you could do there with the waste and create a circular economy?
We could. We've done some testing with the cacao waste, and it's a bit tricky because you've got a kind of gluey, sticky stuff going out of the cacao waste. I don't know how you call it in English, but
It's like a pulp or something, or is
yeah,
it?
it's so basically you've got
Oh,
the
sap.
regular grains, and then you've got the thing around it, which is waste. The thing is, farmers, they use it as they compost it, and we don't really want to take something that's already done and it doesn't really work. We're doing some testing now to make sure if different recipes could give different results, but the recipe we've done was not working at the beginning, so we've shredded the cacao waste and then give it to larvas. Not really a good fit, but we've seen that one of our colleague protein you added on the postcat, maybe they kill the larvas inside of the frass. So this would be a way to make it work, because otherwise you'll have very small larvas.
Yes. Okay. So it's modifying your approach based on the
Yeah.
locality or where you are.
But another big industry in Ivory Coast is the cashew nuts. And the cashew nuts, basically it's like apple trees, but it's apple for cashew nuts. And those there's like very tons and tons of waste. And we are about to begin this week or next week, I think, a test on those apple cashew nuts and see if it can be transformed, if the black soldier-fly larva can transform it. This is also a very good interest. And I know that if it's working, it will be a very nice way to recycle this kind of waste.
And do those nuts have like some sort of outer skin or something before when they're harvested, so you could use that?
Yeah, basically it's literally an apple with the cashew nuts on top, and we take the whole apple.
Really?
Yeah, it's like 80% of, if you look on the internet, it's pretty funny. It's just small like this with a big apple underneath, and we just eat what's on top. It's a cashew.
I'm
The
just
rest is an
Googling it
apple
now.
acid.
Oh yeah, it is like an apple. So what's that apple used for now? Is that livestock or?
No, it's acid. So they just throw it underneath the trees, and some make juice out of it.
You can make juice out of it, but most of it, it's only waste.
It's thrown.
Really? Okay. Yeah. Good luck with that. I hope it works. I want to move on and talk a bit more future. What's your ambitions with this project?
Yeah, so our ambition, first of all, I think it's to build we call it insectpreneurs. So to build a global network of insectpreneurs. And to this end, we have developed a few tools, such as like online tutorials, free tutorials to explain how to do your own BSF, to start your own BSF farms. Also on this, we are doing a lot of training on our farm in Grand Bassam. And we work with the Bugs initiative, which is led by Africa Circular and Eclose and IWAG. So we've done, with this initiative, we trained more than 30 farmers last year. And the objective is to scale up the project and to be able to train more and more farmers in all Ivory Coast and in West Africa in general. We also developed an app, free app.
Just talking about the Eclose guys and Bugs. So basically they came on the farm last time because I still had in mind the way we were doing black soldier fly commercially, so daily basis work. And they came with a new thing, which is Simba approach, which is pretty nice because it makes you work a bit less on your daily work. It's 2 days a week, and it was very interesting for us to have this because it allows us to talk about the future, actually, and we're going to talk about it a bit later, is to understand that black soldier fly is not the end. Black soldier fly is the beginning of something, which is the start of a good agriculture, a good farm. It's not your end product. And the Simba approach helped us to, and you can have a look on the internet, there's everything online, helps us to work a bit differently on the farms and more efficiently, but with a lot of precision. Pretty interesting. So we've done this on the farms, and now our 7 farms are working like this, and we're actually doing it in Benin, Congo again, Senegal soon, Ghana. We've got different, we're training different farmers, and we accompany them on a daily basis to put their farms on foot. And for the future, this is where we are now, in the boat.
Yeah, this is like a bit crazy, but we really wanted to help to the project to make sure that the BASF can be known like globally, because we strongly believe that it is such a powerful tool to do agriculture. This is a way to build a new paradigm around agriculture. And so because we also love traveling and sailing, and we were like, what about combining both projects? And so we just bought a boat, and we will have like a little BASF farm on board. And the idea is to go around the world for 4 years and to train. Well, we have like 3 main objectives with this expedition. The first one is explore. So we would like to explore new ways, innovative practices to regenerate soils, simple, low tech, sustainable and robust, such as the BASF, but we're sure that there is like several other innovative practices to be known. So to explore them. We also want to raise awareness on soils and like to just speak about the soils, why they are so important, because not so many people are really aware on what the soils are doing for our lives. And the third and last objective is to train insectpreneurs around the world and to share our knowledge on the black soldier fly and help to build another way to do agriculture.
Wow, I love that. It's combining all passions into one. I bet you just really, really enjoy living, right? It's the way to do it. Good stuff. So where are you going on the boat trip? And tell me a bit more about the boat and who's on it.
The boat is a Waram Icelander 55. So it's 18 meters long, 8 meter wide, wooden boat, 2 masts. And we like this boat because it's a fixable boat. You can fix anything on it. It's a robust boat, easy sailing, and it's all about what we try to push is easy stuff. It has to be easy if you want to make it work.
Who's the captain?
I am the captain. I was a skipper before. That was my first job.
Right. Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
And basically, we choose also this boat because it's a big, wide boat, and we can have a farm on it. We'll have chickens, pig farming, vegetable farming, school on board. I wanted cows, but Morgane says it's too much.
Hey, there's a guy on TikTok who he has a cow in his kitchen. It's entirely possible.
Oh yeah, on his kitchen. Yeah.
Morgane, you're fully within your rights to expect a cow on board.
And yeah, so for the moment we're in Indonesia. So we started in Japan. We're in Indonesia. We're cruising around Indonesia. We're trying to get in contact with different black soldier fly farmers to visit the farms. We're going to try to interview them, talk a bit with them to understand the challenges, how they work, how they make it work, what's the best way of doing black soldier fly for them, try to understand the ecosystem. And just to finish on the questions, 8 people on board. We've got a crew, some of people coming from a little bit of everywhere. There's one of the person which is filming what we're doing. We've got other people that are trying to challenge a bit the model. So we've got work groups to talk about living soils in general, soils, environments. And yeah, and we're going from Japan, Indonesia, Malaysia, Egypt through Suez, depending on...
Not Malaysia, Maldives.
Maldives, sorry, not Maldives. And then, and depending on the war in Iran, we'll see if we can go through Suez, and then France, where we're going to stay a year to get the boat ready, and then get some sponsors too, because we need a little bit of money to make this project work. And then
the objective is to do like 20 stopovers in 4 years. So our route will depend also on the opportunities and the partners, or find the best place to put in place BASF farms. So I don't think we will be able to put BASF farms in all countries, but at least to start where there's a good environment to do so. So we will start by Morocco and then Dakar in Senegal. And for instance, we're sure that in Senegal, there is like a very high interest in the black soldier fly farming, and we would like to put in place a farm here with partners. And then we'll go across Atlantic, maybe Guyana, Colombia, Costa Rica, Panama, and then the Pacific, and then our way back to Asia, East Africa, through South Africa, and then back to Europe,
Not
basically.
Antarctica?
No, so it's a wooden boat, so we cannot go to Antarctica.
Yeah, don't go
It's
there.
too
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't
dangerous.
think about that. Wow, that is some trip. And how are you telling people about it? Are you on Instagram? Yeah.
So we have a LinkedIn page, but the LinkedIn page is mostly on our activities in Ivory Coast and West Africa. And we also have an Instagram account, which is called Living Soils Expedition. And so on this Instagram account, it's mainly about the expedition. So we are starting because the expedition haven't started officially yet. So we are still at the beginning of it, but we will communicate more and more on Instagram feeds.
Wow, awesome. I'm insanely jealous of your trip. Yeah, absolutely. I'll bring the family. No, it sounds great, and I'm sure wherever you go, and if you build up a good enough following and tell more people about your plan, then you'll be able to
Yeah.
find some contacts. Because the great thing about black soldier fly is that it seems to be happening all over the world in sort of pockets, but all over the world, quite broadcast everywhere. I mean, you're going to build up such a network as well. Are you mainly going to engage those kind of smallholder approaches to the smaller scale approaches like you're doing in Ivory Coast, or are you going to go all sort of variety, set up operations, but also maybe visit operations as well to learn? I don't know. What's the plan in that regard?
We're gonna visit a lot of farms depending on the size. We will try to have a look at everything because we want to learn from everything, and the goal is to share what we've seen, and people will choose what they want from what we communicate about. So we're gonna see big farms, small farms, but it's not only black soldier flies that we're gonna visit. We're also gonna visit different farms that are regenerating soils different ways, because black soldier fly for me is a tool in a big toolbox. Hopefully we'll find different other tools to add to this black soldier fly and make the best out of it.
I know I spoke about the Nuffield Scholarship in our little preamble before the podcast recording. Just hearing this again, I think actually perhaps you could apply for this. It's a pretty unique proposition to apply to the French Nuffield Scholarship board and say, hey, this is what we're planning to do this all by boat, and we're going to actually engage farmers, but we're going to learn a lot in the process and write about it in like a formal report and things like that. And if you're looking for sponsors, it's essentially a sponsorship program. So have a think.
Yeah, definitely. We'll secure opportunity. Maybe you could send us links.
Yeah, I
for
can put you in touch with some French scholars.
Yeah.
And they can talk to you.
Yeah.
I mean, it could work, but yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation with you. It's an incredible trip that you're doing. It's amazing what you've set up in Ivory Coast already. And if you are listening from any of those countries that these guys have mentioned, then please reach out. I'll Morgane and Arthur to share their contact details so that they can get in touch with you, and you can meet them and they can hopefully share their global knowledge with you. I found when I was on my travels a couple of years ago that the further I got into the travels, the more people wanted to meet me because they kind of wanted to know the gossip of the industry as well. As well as what I've learned. So it helps the more places you go to. But guys, thank you very much for coming on, and best of luck with your trip.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk about living soils.
You're welcome. God, I really enjoyed that episode. I know I say that about every episode, but it was truly a unique journey. I mean, the fact that they're on a boat and I think they got a couple of internet problems, but they were in the middle of the ocean somewhere around Indonesia. Good old Elon Musk and Starlink powering their journey through. These guys I commend what they're doing. They're doing it because they've got this kind of North Star of getting black soldier flies around the world. And so the real question is, can it work? And that is what I reflect upon when thinking about this recording with these guys, Morgane and Arthur. Can it work in local communities around the world, particularly in the global south, whether it's in Asia, in South America, or in Africa, in the Ivory Coast, like they've started out with? And from what I've seen from my own personal experience in places like that, I fully believe that it can. We touched upon, increasing the protein levels in poorer communities by up to 7 times. But then the real challenge for them sounds like it's going to be Frass. Can farmers adopt it? It's really interesting to hear of the financial risk management and how they are managing it through shared, or even the risk being on living soils as the organization. But it does also show the confidence that they have in Frass, and I would probably share that with them to a certain extent. Amazing stuff what they're doing, and I would urge you, if you are listening to this and you would like to meet them, and who knows, maybe even get a little trip on their boat, if you're in Black Soldier Flies, give them a follow on Instagram. It's Living Soils Expedition, or you can find them on LinkedIn. It's Morgane Breuil or Arthur Dinechin. I have butchered their names, as I do to everyone. But that's how you will find them. That's how you'll follow their journey and potentially get in touch with them and learn from them, learn from the gossip of the industry and from what's happening and all of their knowledge of what they've seen. Really good conversation. I enjoyed having 2 people on. Perhaps I'll have to do that in the future. And if you would like to be a guest on my podcast, then you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. It's David Taberner, or the Black Soldier Fly Leaders podcast. I would love to hear from you and what makes you a Black Soldier Fly leader. So let me know and we can have a conversation. Always love hearing all of your stories and what you're doing around the world. It fills my heart and it gives me a lot of knowledge for my own benefit too. So thank you once again, everyone, for listening from where you are in the world. And I hope you have a good day. Bye for now.